Hi, my name is Gilma Dorville.
I'm Ebony Weaver.
I'm Ashley Moultrie.
I'm Delanique Robinson.
I'm Janelle M. Forbes, and you're watching The Ugly Truth Show on
Dominion TV.
Welcome back to The Ugly Truth. I'm your host, Ashley Moultrie. I'm joined by my amazing co-host again, of course. And we have a special guest today talking about Teach Me How to Prosper. Our special guest is none other than Miss Lynette Dutton. Welcome.
Woo! So good to be here with you guys.
We're
You're
excited.
awesome.
And we need you, right? So,
Yes.
as so many people are looking to start their own business, looking to jump out there, what advice, because we need to know how to prosper,
Yes.
because we want to go, right? Talk to us about what your journey looked like.
Ooh, you want the ugly truth. You know, the journey isn't always glamorous because a lot of times people will look at the overnight success. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that? It's like people are they don't see the process. Mm-hmm. They don't see what happens in the dark room. They don't see what happens after midnight. They don't see what's happening behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And so you'll take like Bishop Jakes and you'll think, oh wow, you know, like one day he wasn't, and then, you know, like the lights flipped on and he's in Dallas, Texas, and, you know, he's friends with Oprah. That's not exactly what happened.
Right.
I can remember him in the 90s, and a good friend of ours, her tour bus, when she would actually go to her pastor's church, who was Bishop Jakes, if she parked the bus out there, you couldn't even see his church.
Wow.
See, so people don't know that, okay, there's the story behind the story.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though it looks like, okay, everything's glamorous, you know, they hit the Forbes 100 list.
Yeah.
You have to get, where did they start? Mm-hmm. And I had a mentor, I was writing an article and I just quoted him. He says, you're going to be successful if you don't quit. Okay. Now that was in corporate, but the same rule applies.
Yes.
If you have a dream, if you have a business, if you have a vision, if you have a calling, a ministry, you're going to win as long as you don't quit.
I love that. And I love what you said about the process, right? Because everybody loves the ending, right?
Right.
I love the final. Like, give me the outcome any day of the
I don't
week.
want to put in the work.
Yes, but
Oh, yeah.
learning to enjoy the steps that it takes.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you started your business, Dominion TV, you know, the whole thing, right? To be able to sit back at home now is like, that's me, I did that, right? But what did that process look like for you? Do you feel like you learned and still do to love the work that goes into it in the process along the way?
Of course, yeah, definitely. You know, what people don't realize is before Dominion TV went on air, there was about 2 years worth of almost every day working. I worked in corporate at the time and was, you know, at night, you know, my husband, my kids, we all worked the vision. And I put everything I made into it.
Wow.
You know, it's some of those choices that you make.
Yes.
When you know you have a dream is, okay, do I go on vacation or do I buy another camera?
Right.
The sacrifices.
That's good.
Yeah. That's good.
You know, do I want that new bag or, you know, am I going to put that into, okay, you know, I need some ad time, you know, or this. And every little bit counts. So we were continuously, and we still do, investing. So I don't eat my seed.
I love
Okay.
that.
That's good.
I don't
wow.
wear my seed.
That's
I don't.
good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like a lot light bulb kind of goes
Yeah.
off.
You know,
Who
and
needs your
some
seed?
people, you know, they'll say, well, okay, so I'm trying to get out of debt, and they'll quit giving their extra offerings, and they'll quit doing all this stuff thinking, okay, I'm going to put everything into it. No, you can actually seed your way into some of these things.
Yes.
So what we have to remember is biblical principles even in business work. So the same things you're doing for your personal life, you do for your ministry life or your business life. So we tithe on business, we seed from business. Before I had one paid broadcaster, we were giving and seeding TV contracts out. And we still do it. We pick somebody every year that we're going to say, okay, we're going to seed this
Wow.
because it works.
Yes.
In Genesis it says seed time and harvest. You know, as long as the earth remains, so does seed time and harvest.
Yes.
It's a principle. And the other things that you have to realize is there's the instant gratification you get from the new bag,
Oh,
the big house, the new car.
Yeah.
But then there's something called destiny, purpose, legacy. And so I can buy a new bag every week. Okay, so you know I've got a bag issue, right? You know, I keep talking about new bags, right? But the thing is for so long I never got one.
Okay.
Because I was like, you know, I can do this now and I can be happy today, but it's not going to get me to where I see myself where I need to be, where the Lord showed me I was going to be.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, I'm going to put some of this instant gratification, feel good stuff on hold. And I'm going to really sow into something that's going to be lasting. It's going to be a legacy.
So, okay, so you talked about seeding your way out.
Yes.
I learned that principle about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
And it does work. And I want to know, you're not only Dominion TV, you're a pastor, your mom, your grandma,
Yeah.
amongst other things. How do you balance it all?
Whew. I don't always.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The ugly truth
Yeah.
you know, it's a pendulum, and sometimes it goes one way, and sometimes it goes the other, and then sometimes it all works
Yes.
out. It's hard. I think the first thing is keep Jesus first.
Yes.
And I use this analogy a lot because it fits in so many different things. It's just like when you're on the airplane and you're getting ready to travel,
Yes,
and it says put the oxygen on yourself first.
it does.
Yeah. If you're not alive, nothing else lives.
Jesus.
So, especially on the mom role, younger, I would always put the kids first, put the husband first, put them in, until I realized, oh my gosh, my health isn't good.
Yeah.
I've packed on weight, all this stuff, I'm not getting the sleep I need. I'm grouchy, I'm irritable, and ain't nobody happy.
That's right.
And so you have to step back and you have to say, okay, what do I need? How can I keep myself so I can be this to everybody else? And so to me, that's the biggest thing, and that's Jesus.
Yes.
And the second thing is when you're tired and when you're ready to quit and to throw in the towel and tell everybody to pack their bags and leave or throw their stuff out the house.
Yeah.
I've got 20-something kid,
Yeah.
Ben's 22. He lives at home.
Okay.
And Destiny's she's almost 28. But there are those days when, because they're adults now and, their ideas and my ideas aren't always the same.
Yeah.
So, you get these moments where, just, forget it.
Yeah.
You've got to have that place and that space of where do you get refreshed?
Yeah.
Where do you get restored? In the presence of God. Okay, so in the presence of God is a great answer. Okay, now I also do church with my family. So we live together, we work together, we worship together,
Yes.
we
I love it.
break bread. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're always in each other's face.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to go walk on the beach.
Yeah.
Or I have to take a drive. Or,
Yeah.
So you have to find that time where instead of quitting, that you can get away and you can pour back into yourself.
Yes.
So accepting your calling as a pastor,
Yeah.
How was it in the beginning? Was it scary? Do you always knew from being young? You always knew
I was
what would come?
oblivious a long time. I had the word that came to me prophetically when I was 15. And I was always a leader, you know, whether it was a youth leader or, you know, the arts ministry, you know. And me and my husband got married at 20. And the funny thing is on our first date, now we'd known each other, our families knew each other. I went to his brother's church. But the first date was kind of like, I'm all about the ministry, and this is my vision for my life. This is what God's told me. And he said this, and I'm going to pastor, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And if you're not with ministry, then, you know, I'll take you to dinner and a movie tonight, but, you know, that's where this is going to end.
Okay.
And that was the first date.
Well, all right.
Yes.
So I was like, you know, okay, I'm good with it. My great grandmother was a pastor, but that was a lot different. I saw it from a different angle. I think through my 30s, I kind of said, like, you know, if a pastor's wife would have told me what it really looked like, I probably would have said no.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, no dinner, no movie.
That's
you know,
right.
I'm just going home.
Right. So it took a while to accept that call, and I was fine with being a pastor's wife. I did a lot. I think the first 15 years of ministry I spent in, you've seen the control room here, I spent in a little closet during services. So other than when I was up ministering in the dance or doing something like that, I stayed behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And so the kids, Destiny, when she was born, we'd have her in a baby carrier, and she would sit there while I directed cameras. Yeah.
Wow.
So they grew up in that. So I didn't speak or anything until I was almost 40.
Wow.
I did corporate. I did all of that kind of thing, and was great at it. $1 Million Club, Rolex Club. I could speak to, you know, the conference room, the conferences, everything else. I just didn't do it for Jesus. I mean, I did it for him, but not in his
In
house.
his house. Right.
We often know that, and we talked about this a couple of times on the show. It's through the challenge where change comes, right?
Yeah.
We look at you right now. You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Sweet.
changing people's lives. I mean, just the fact of having Dominion TV. What was the challenge or that avenue that you had to overcome or are still overcoming to stay in that vein of victory?
You know, I think probably the biggest thing is your thought patterns and the little voice that inside that tells you you're not worthy, you're not valuable, you don't have the skills, the expertise, you know, you're not qualified. You know, it just depends on what day, but there's always that little thing that you have to control what you think. So, you know, for some it's like, I don't have the money, I don't have the college degree, I don't, you know, and all these little things that come up. So it's the thought life.
So what was your aha moment that brought you out of hiding in the closet into the
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, Bishop Tudor Bismarck is our father in the Lord, and we actually hosted a conference in Augusta, Georgia, where he came and he did a prayer summit. And I was a part of the team that was in charge of doing all the recording and everything, because even when everybody else got to go to lunch, he's so disciplined. He would knock out 2 or 3 sessions for recording while everybody else was eating.
Wow.
So he like just didn't stop. And so it was one morning, Pastor Chichi, his wife, was there, and she spoke, and she gave an altar call, and I don't even remember what the altar call was exactly. I just knew I found myself down there at the front, and she was praying like only African Zimbabwe pastor, intercessor could pray. I mean, she can split open the heavens for sure. And it was one of the most powerful prayers, and she laid hands on me, and while she was praying, she whispered a scripture in my ear, Isaiah 45, verse 3, about hidden riches and secret treasures. And I don't think, to my recollection, that I'd ever heard or read that verse before. She said that. And she says, with people comes responsibility.
Wow.
And I didn't know what it meant,
Deep.
but it like just pierced something
Yeah.
inside me. And I started on a journey, and what was really cool is the next week I had accepted invite to go to Dr. Samuel Chan's Dream Releaser coaching, and it was like an orientation type thing. I didn't know if I wanted to, but it was like this free event, and it was in Atlanta, and I was like, okay, day trip, you know. And I went in there, and the first person who spoke was Dr. Earl Brown. And he talked about coaching and pulling layers and treasures out of people. And he used that same verse. And
Wow.
that was the aha.
Yeah.
Wow, so my encounter with you, Miss Lynette, I love you,
I love you.
and you were God sent. And the reason I said that was I could remember when you called me, I had just transitioned from Atlanta to Arkansas, where God told me to go. And even in that transition that I found so difficult because I did not want to be there. I was prospering in Atlanta.
Yes.
And coming to a state that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And it's just a different pace in the market. I could remember
Way
you
different.
Way different. But I could remember our first conversation on the phone, and when I started complaining and I started saying, well, I don't know, so you have this sense of peace about you that I don't talk to people, and I had never met you, and I just felt so comfortable. You brought me so much peace. I think we spoke the day after I had just arrived, or was it the day? It was the day after.
Yeah.
That I had just arrived.
I don't think
in
you'd unpacked
Arkansas.
bags or anything.
I didn't
You were
unpack
like,
anything, and I was so overwhelmed. I was stressed. I was frustrated. I was angry. Whew. And then she called me, and she brought me such a sense of peace and joy.
Wow.
And I could remember her telling me when I said, Miss Lynette, through the height of COVID, I didn't lose my business. I lost my clients. And when God said to move from Atlanta to Arkansas, I'm moving with my last $3,000.
Yep.
And I'm looking, I don't know where in Arkansas I'm going. Everywhere I try to get, it just didn't work out. And I'm still questioning, okay, am I supposed to be here? This is second day. Am I supposed to really be here? You know, mosquitoes are tearing my skin up.
Come on, talk
You
about
know, like what is going? And I could remember you telling me that we serve a God that it's not. Oh, you remember that conversation? You said we serve a God. Your Father in heaven is greater than not only what you're going through, but basically He will supply your needs.
Yes.
But you said a specific word that I can't remember, and I had never heard it that way before. And you began to tell me about your transition, and I was like, how this lady just telling me all her business already?
Yeah.
And I'm telling her all of mine. You know, so that was the connection that I knew. And as much just to get here today, I thank you. I do. I thank you. You were so patient with me.
You had a lot of obstacles.
A lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of resistance. But, you know, and we think about this in life. We'll think about it in relationships. But isn't your dream, if you're going to get resistance on the small things, how much more resistance are you going to get to your calling in your dream?
Yeah.
Because that dream isn't about Janelle.
You're right. That's
Even though
good.
it's Janelle's dream.
Yes.
It's about God put that in you.
Yes.
You know, we think, how vain is it for me to want to own a TV station or to be in front of the cameras? You know how, but that's what God put inside of us.
Yes.
Because we're made in His image and His likeness, and we are key to unlocking somebody else's dream, somebody else's potential, their calling.
Yes.
And that one person that you may reach through this show, you never know who they're going to be or who's going to be watching. Maybe they'll be the next president. Maybe they'll be the person who discovers the cure to cancer. Maybe they'll be the person who is the next Billy Graham and lead millions to the Lord. That could be inside you.
And you saw
Because
that in me.
there wouldn't be that resistance if there wasn't something.
Yeah.
And we said that. We
Yep.
said
Yeah.
that.
It was just, yep. I was
Yes,
just telling Ashley
yes.
that.
And it took, because I, honestly speaking, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. It's just too much. And this lady is just believing in me, and I don't know what she sees in me. But okay, Lord. And I had a lot of moments that way.
Yeah.
And then each time I would hear, I would see the broadcast. And something you or your husband would say, I'll be like, okay, Lord, I'm sorry. You know, so what I'm learning and what I learned from you was, teach me how to prosper is not only financial.
Right.
Teaching me how to prosper is in every area of my life.
Yeah.
And even when I didn't see how, even when I changed so many dates because of those obstacles.
Yeah.
The last obstacles, as you know, was my husband getting injured and almost lost his life.
Yeah.
And I could remember you on that phone. I had really called you to tell you I can't do this.
Yeah.
But her voice to me and the peace that she brought to me on that phone.
I know, I'm like getting teary-eyed.
I know. The peace that you brought to me on that phone, I was like, I must do this. I am built to prosper.
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
And I am going to push through and pivot through everything that comes my way. Every obstacle, all the pain, everything. I'm going to pivot through it. And I'm just going to, like I always say, for your glory, God.
Yes.
I will do anything. And when you called me that day, I said, okay, I took a deep breath. You told me to take a deep breath. You told me to take a deep breath. And you was like, if you need, and I'm like, how is she so busy and still finding time to call me who you've never met?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you need to process some more, Janelle, you can call me. And I'm looking like, really?
Right.
Right.
You know, like, so it motivated me to not only want to financially prosper.
Yeah.
I have matured in my mind, and I said, Lord God Almighty, I see it now. The vision is clear because I am built to prosper. And if this was not important, and if this wasn't supposed to save souls or reach people to pull whatever it is on the inside of them out, the resistance would not be so strong and hard and heavy.
It wouldn't.
Yeah. But like she said, it's not only for you. And sometimes I get caught up because there's callings and I know what I have to do.
Right.
But then I had to remind myself, you cannot be selfish.
Right.
There are people that need you.
Yeah.
There are things that God wants you to do, and we have to be God in the earth.
Yes.
You know, His Spirit is in us, and we have to follow that. And I think that's what you two are doing, and you're such great examples for someone young like me to look up to say, I know you can do this, and like Miss Janelle does with all of us, pull that out of us,
Come on.
even when we do resist, because we can hold ourselves back.
Yes.
That's so
Probably
good.
bigger than anybody else can hold you back.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I was talking to Janelle about this yesterday, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say it. It's the ugly truth.
Say it, girl. Say it.
I'm gonna say it. And there was a huge transition that I was going through in my life, and you know, I'm from Miami, moved to Lakeland. They're completely different, although they're still in Florida. Both of them are cities in Florida, and Janelle, we got reconnected on a deeper level.
Yeah.
It's family.
Yeah.
But in that entire process, I was on the phone with Janelle, and what you did for her, she did for me,
On everybody else.
right? And you had to think of yourself less so that you can put more into me.
Yes.
Jesus.
And so the dichotomy between something being taken away from someone isn't really a loss. It's a gain in someone else's life.
it's an investment.
It's an investment. And this is a return on the investment
Yes.
that
Wow,
you
that's
had.
good.
Yeah.
And going through that transition, I was like, I feel stuck. I
Yeah.
felt stuck, like there was no other way out.
Yes.
And when she called me, she's like, no, you will shift.
The authority.
That's it.
I
And
love
we
it.
have authority. And
I love
she's like,
No question.
No question. And she's like, your days of babysitting are over.
Yes.
Listen, I felt that. I felt that.
I'm sitting in the car and I'm on the phone and I'm like, my days of babysitting are over. And literally, without a shadow of a doubt, that same week, my life shifted.
Yes.
Jesus.
And my life changed. And I don't know
Yes.
where I would be if it wasn't for that conversation.
You'd be babysitting.
I'd be
Be
babysitting.
Because he will send a word however he has to.
However.
And it ain't gonna come pretty. And it ain't gonna come kind.
Yes.
Especially when you get it from Janelle, she gonna give it to you. And she gonna make sure that it pierces every piece of your soul.
Whether you like it
Yes,
or not.
or not.
I like how you said investment.
Yes.
When you invest, trust to believe, when I get to where I'm going, I'm coming
Come on.
back.
Right.
And
Woo!
grab it with you. Yes.
I'm coming
I'm
back.
coming back and I'm going to give the flowers to those who had
Yeah.
a part in investing in me.
Right.
And not only that, I'm going to invest in others. I'm not going to soak it up all for myself.
Right.
It's a chain.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
yes.
someone invests in you, you invest
That's
in
right.
them.
Yes.
So don't get weary
Yeah.
in the well doing.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
When you reap, you're gonna reap it if you faint not.
Right.
Yes.
Miss Lynette, I just want to say thank you for sitting down with us.
Yes,
We could talk to you
thank
for
you.
hours.
Hours.
Right? We will not stop.
We would have a
But
great
thank
time.
you. Always remember seed time and harvest time. Like Miss Lynette said, the harvest does not come before the seed. So you have to learn to enjoy the process of planting your seed and working that. And then just know and trust God that your harvest is going to come. Thank you so much for watching us, guys. We absolutely love you. We will see you again next week, and be blessed until then.
Hello everyone, my name is Janelle M. Forbes. Thank you for watching the Ugly Truth Show on Dominion TV. Don't forget, download the app, dominion.tv.
Hi, my name is Gilma Dorville.
I'm Ebony Weaver.
I'm Ashley Moultrie.
I'm Delanique Robinson.
I'm Janelle M. Forbes, and you're watching the Ugly Truth Show on
Dominion TV.